24/7 Valley Cam Network. Keep an eye on the Central Valley with live, unparalleled views of your community. Witness what's unfolding around the valley. Stay informed, stay connected with the Valley Cam Network, presented by Table Mountain Sky.
Garage doors can be extremely loud. What they're used to hearing every day, and then you come in and change that, yeah, it's impactful. Here at Precision, you're just a phone call away from getting your garage door fixed today.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Welcome to Too Good to Guess. Can you guess how much 2 pairs of progressives, an eye exam, and anti-glare lens upgrade will cost at Stanton Optical? Only $135? Wow, a deal so good, every customer wins. Book your eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
I'm Catherine Hurd. You're watching CBS 47.
Today on Dr. Phil. His affair got his wife's best friend pregnant.
You have played me for so long. I'm tired of it.
Now, meet the other woman's husband. The battle for custody is on. You two want to raise that child.
We want what's best for that baby.
You think Michelle is not a good mother.
I don't think she would be a positive thing in his life.
You're judging her, but it's you that's sleeping with somebody else's husband. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Last week, we began following a story of a husband who has said he was torn between his wife and his girlfriend, and they used to be best friends. Now, the situation became even more complicated when both women became pregnant by him at the same time. Now, today they're back to tell us what happened after they left the stage and returned home. And this time, you're also going to meet the other woman's husband. Here's what's happened so far.
My husband had an affair with my best friend. I did ask him, how could he do this to me? How could he do this to our kids? And his response was that he loved her and that he wanted to be with her, but he was torn because he loved me and wanted to be with me too.
I've never felt like the other woman. For some reason in my mind, the fact that I love him and he loves me makes it okay.
I ended up pregnant, and I thought at that time, something has to happen.
Both women became pregnant by him at the same time.
It's confusing to me that he's so torn because he was just so willing before to give his life up with her and be with me.
I'm torn of who I want to spend the rest of my life with, whether it's my wife or my girlfriend.
This affair with her is still going on, right?
Yes, it is.
The other woman is going to join us here on stage. What gives you the right to lay with another woman's husband?
I am ashamed.
You are unbelievable. You have a husband. You have a family.
You say that you have raw feelings for him that are very strong, and you want to be with him. So why haven't you left to be with him?
Every day I hope I'll wake up and my feelings for Brad will lessen.
Do you want to stay with him?
I'm not so sure I do anymore.
So we've had 40 affairs, 19 during the marriage. Are you number 40?
I believe I'm different. I believe that he loves me. He didn't love the other ones.
She says she fully intends to take your husband, and she's here to achieve that today.
I'm to the point now where, you know what, you can have him. I'll bring his dirty laundry over. You take it.
When you stack the priority list in your life, where do the kids come?
I thought I can keep the family together, I can raise my children, and I'm meeting some other needs over here.
I assume there's part of you that either thinks that this is going to wind up in a really bad place at some point if you don't stop it, or you are so gutless that you're trying to get her to make the decision. You were with her last night, correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and were you aware of that?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Why is it his choice? Why do you have such low self-worth that you've got to be there saying, pick me, instead of don't let the door hit you in the ass, buddy? Do you think 5 years down the road, the two of you would be together?
I believe that.
Yes.
My prediction is that if you actually got married, you would become Michelle. You are an interloper. You are a transgressor. You are a burglar. And you need to get out of her house, get out of her family, get out of her life. And I will get you help to make that come true. So what do you want?
I want him to leave me alone.
Well, after the show, the situation was obviously very tense. Emotions were running high backstage. We shot that. Take a look.
It was extremely uncomfortable to be on stage with not only both women, but all the women in the audience as well.
It was really hard to see Sarah face to face. It brought up a lot of anger and resentment towards her.
I saw a lot of hatred from her. I felt guilt.
The best advice Dr. Phil gave me was,
you need to take an honest look at yourself. You just have no self-control, no boundaries to your relationship.
the most powerful thing that Dr. Phil said to me was,
where do the kids go? This has now started encroaching on their peace.
I am truly committed to try to make a change in my life. I want to do everything I can to respect the boundaries and do what we need to do to hold these families together.
Wouldn't you love to be 100% happily married to Michelle?
Absolutely.
But you don't have that ability with anybody. That's why you're meeting your needs with two women, because Michelle's stable and predictable and secure. And then you're saying on the other side here, it's more electric and exciting and all of that. And those two things together kind of fills the hole.
Right.
Well, what you got to do is figure out, why can't I feel that good with my wife?
I'm thinking Brad is probably hurt over the fact that Sarah said she wants to be with her family and not have anything to do with him. And I think he's probably really freaking out thinking that I'm going to divorce him.
I do not believe that Sarah really wants me to leave her alone, because I really don't want to leave her alone.
I understand why I need to stay away from her. I do. I know it's not good for him or his family. You're my family, but I'm really scared that I don't have the strength to do it.
You clearly will go through some withdrawal, but you can do this. Look, you got sucked up in this, and you made some bad decisions, and you have to own those. On another level, you're a victim. I mean, this guy is good at what he does, and he came and picked you off, and you got involved with him. What I'm trying to do is grab you and shake you before you look up and go, oh my God, what have I done? What happened to my family? What about my kids? And I'm trying to get you to stop this before that happens. And for some reason, your husband is still hanging in there.
Well, what would you do with the baby that we share?
I don't think you make a decision about that right now. Because right now, you're this way. You're all emotional. Should he have a role in that child's life? That depends on what's best for that baby. Instinct says that because he's the biological father, he should, but I don't want that to be a temptation, manipulation, backdoor way of getting back together right now. We'll talk about that in the future.
Okay.
So let 24 hours go by.
I'm so scared of that.
And calm down. Go home, be with your husband and your children.
He may not want anything to do with me anymore. It may be too late. I don't know.
I doubt it.
Darling, I just gotta do it.
You have got to walk away from her, or you're going to destroy a lot of people's lives, and then you're going to say, I wish I'd have got control of myself before my children had to pay the price, before her children had to pay the price. Well, we followed Michelle and Brad as they drove to the airport. This was the first time they were alone together after being here on our stage.
I knew that coming here, it was going to force us in one direction or the other. And either way, I think it's important for people to start to heal.
How can you heal from something you don't know is over?
What can I say? I'm still in shock. I haven't really let any of it sink in.
How could you be in shock and not have it sink in when you're the one that's done this? You've lived it. You've already been through it once. I was knocked in the head by a lot of it. You have played me for so long. You had me snowed coming here. You lied. You were with her last night, for crying out loud. I knew that was going to happen, and I'm tired of it. Do you hear me? I am tired of it. Quit involving me. If you don't want to be in this relationship, then go. And I may just cut my losses, file for divorce, and start my life over so I don't have to suffer in this hell anymore.
Well, next, we're going to find out what happened when Brad and Michelle got back home. We'll hear about a rendezvous between Brad and the other woman that just absolutely sent Michelle through the roof. We'll be right back.
A few weeks after the show, Sarah and I decided to meet for lunch. It turned out not to be an innocent lunch.
We started off sitting across from each other, then we sat side by side, just to be closer. The kiss that happened at lunch was no big deal. It was something we did all the time. We playfully talked about going back to my house.
My heart dropped and I was so mad.
Tuesday, she's 7 months pregnant.
Sarah, I'm Dr. Phil.
I know who you are.
Out of control.
I said that. I didn't want that talked about.
You're not running this show.
And putting her baby at risk.
You've smoked crack and used heroin.
Once or twice isn't really like using.
Why did you refuse to take a drug screen? And if anybody cares about this unborn child, then tell me the truth.
All right, I need to stop.
That's Tuesday. Then on Thursday, she keyed her boyfriend's car.
I don't care anymore.
But she keeps coming back to him.
Your daughter and I had sex every day.
You sexually assaulted her?
I did not sexually assault her.
That's Thursday.
Sheriff John Zanoni.
As your children return to school, we're in partnership with other community and educational leaders to ensure they return not only successfully, but safely.
Your children's academic, social, and emotional health matters. Help them thrive by being caring, loving, responsible, and attentive in their lives.
You are your child's first teacher, and their success starts with you. Welcome back to school.
Hi, this is attorney Shervin Lalazari.
This truck swerved and hit me and my wife. Can you meet us at the hospital?
Of course. We'll be right there.
The Law Brothers were amazing. They were there every step of the way.
Call us. We're the Law Brothers.
Call right now or visit lawbrothers.com.
Getting older doesn't have to mean giving up your independence. When it's time to trade in your ride, go for something reliable, like a Golden Technologies Power Mobility scooter. Continue to feel the wind on your face and the road under your wheels with a brand you can trust and service you can rely on. The Bone Store, proving the way you walk, move, sit, and sleep.
From playful puppy to adventurous adult, help keep them healthy. Iams for life.
And Doug.
What do we always say, son? Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
So you only pay for what you need.
That's my boy. And you get out there and you make us proud, huh?
Bye, Uncle Emu.
Stay off the freeways. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The cost of energy continues to skyrocket. Power bills are squeezing everybody's budget. If you've got the money, solar is a great way to go. But what if you can't afford to buy a solar system? SunSource Solar can help. We install solar systems at no cost out of your pocket. Even if your credit isn't great, we can still help. Cut your power bill 30 to 50% and save thousands of dollars. Stop handing your hard-earned cash over to the utility company. Call SunSource Solar now and start saving money.
We're continuing to follow the affair that Brad had with his wife's ex-best friend. The last time Brad and Michelle were here, 2 marriages were at stake over this affair because the other woman is also married. Now here's what happened when Brad and Michelle got back home.
When we left, I felt like I'd been punched in the gut.
I was full of rage. I was very upset and very hurt.
Right after the show, I was still in contact with Sarah. I was worried about her. I loved her.
We were waiting for our plane, and I saw him punching on his phone. And I asked him, are you text messaging Sarah? And he at first said no.
I didn't tell Michelle because I was still living a lie.
At that point, I thought, he didn't listen to a damn word Dr. Phil told him. And she didn't listen to a damn word Dr. Phil told her.
Michelle and I decided that we needed some space apart from each other. And we decided to take turns staying at the house. I was so lost and confused, I told both Michelle and Sarah I needed to be away from both of them. I needed some space. It wasn't working.
I was worried that he was still contacting her, that he was still meeting her.
I couldn't stop talking to her. It was still an emotional affair. I was still attached to her. I went from talking to Sarah 4 or 5 times a day to talking to her every 48 hours.
A week after the show, I pressed redial on Brad's mom's phone and realized that it was Sarah's number.
I called Sarah from my mom's house because I wanted to talk to her.
My heart dropped and I was so mad. I called her and said, I hope you're making room for him because I'm sending him over with all of his belongings.
Michelle threatened to divorce me.
I did give Brad an ultimatum, either her or me. That was a turning point.
A few weeks after the show, it finally reached the point where we were rock bottom. Sarah and I agreed to meet each other for lunch, to get together with the babies and talk about a few things. It turned out not to be an innocent lunch.
I found out about their lunch several days after it happened. Brad had taken pictures of himself with the child and of Sarah. I was very hurt.
I just realized that this is so unhealthy and I can't live this way anymore. And I made the decision to salvage my marriage and put my family back together. There was an element of sadness when we broke it off. Dr. Phil said I was a sex addict. I took offense to that. I'm not a sex addict. Sex has been an easy outlet for me. I like excitement. I like to do risky things. I get bored easily.
Since the show, he has started reading about attention deficit disorder.
It may be adult ADD. That could have played a big part in why I've been unfaithful. I think if we hadn't come on the show, Michelle and I wouldn't be together. One thing that really stands out is when Dr. Phil made the prediction that if Sarah and I got together, she would become the next Michelle. When he said that, I thought, to hell with that. I was determined that I'd prove him wrong one way or the other. I thought, I'm not a cheater. I can change.
You've got to get your legs up under you. You got to get a backbone about you.
When Dr. Phil said I needed to get a backbone, it did wake me up. I was going to fight for what I felt was mine and what was right. I can't let her win.
I do miss Sarah. I think about her on a daily basis. Although it's hard for me, I don't plan to talk to the other woman.
My greatest fear is that Brad and Sarah will get involved again. That will just rip me apart.
When you were here last time, you said this was like you got hit in the stomach, that this concept of you having 40 affairs was overplayed in the show. Now, you're the one that made the list, right?
Right. You know, the clarification is it wasn't 40 women that I had sexual intercourse with, but there were people on there that I had flirted with and had some type of contact.
Well, you've heard my definition of cheating, right?
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say, that I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter. If it's something that she doesn't approve of, then it's cheating.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard it, my definition of cheating is if you wouldn't do it with her standing there, that's cheating.
Right.
And those 40 certainly failed that litmus test.
Absolutely.
You've said since the show that, now, wait a minute, this ain't all me. She's a pessimist. She doesn't communicate. She's not doing right in this. And Sarah is very manipulative and controlling and sucks you in too. And you said you came across as the total predator and the 2 women involved in this came across as just total victims in this, right? And you object to that.
That's how I felt when we left the show.
You felt like I was harder on you than I was on them and that was unfair. Okay, right. Well, let me do that again.
Okay.
You have to be in control of you.
I understand that.
I'm not going to talk to you about Michelle. I'm not going to talk to you about Sarah. I'm going to talk to you about you. You say, you know, I'm not a sex addict. Well, I don't want to play semantics with you. You say you're addicted to adrenaline. okay? And you get your adrenaline through this sexual assignation thing. It's taboo, it's exciting, it's fun. I mean, you told me that you admitted that backstage. Right. And now your theory is, well, I'm ADD. Just can't stay on one person. And so it's hard to commit long-term and concentrate. The things that you're talking about, Michelle's pessimistic and has her problems. Sarah's controlling and has her problems. You may be ADD. All of those things are external. You have to own this for a variety of reasons. Number one, that's the only thing that's going to get you to stop and maintain that. And number two, you need to have pride in the fact that you are controlling yourself and you're making that choice if and when you do. You're not going to get an ADD pill that's going to fix this problem. That has nothing to do with you making a decision to turn outside your marriage.
I do get that.
Okay, that's what I want you to do. All right, Sarah's joining us next. We'll be right back.
Michelle did call my cell phone after the show. She told me that, you know, I could have him, she'd bring his stuff over. And I was just like, crazy bitch, what are you talking about? I'm sure some of the old feelings will come back when I see him face to face.
I'm concerned about what's going on in America right now. We can really have an impact on this, and it can start with you. Very excited about my guest today. Knows a lot about things that most of us don't know about, need to know about. This is a very important conversation. I think you're going to find it stimulating, provocative, and persuasive. That's what we're talking about today on Fill in the Blanks. I want to up the knowledge curve a little bit. Available on Apple Podcast or however you listen.
'47, the Big Fresno Fair and Central California Blood Center invite you to give blood at the Pint for a Pass blood drive now through October 14th. Donors get a buy one, get one free admission voucher good for the 2023 Big Fresno Fair, plus be entered to win concert tickets. More details at donateblood.org. Save a life and have fun at the fair.
Big Fresno Fair, big times are back.
Actually, it was my dad who recommended that I get a hold of an injury lawyer, and it just so happened that I got a hold of Berg. Berg kept me updated on play-by-play of my case. Basically took what would have been a headache out of my hands and just did the footwork. I'd be paying bills for a long time if it wasn't for them. They could take good care of you, and they handle all the problems that you might not be able to resolve. And they take it out of your hands and put it in their own.
Are you looking for a career that lets you work with your hands? One where you're out in the field and not behind a desk? If you are, SJVC welcomes you to attend our Skilled Trades Night, where you can experience what it's like to study in one of SJVC's hands-on trades career training programs. Join us Wednesday, October 4th from 6 to 8 p.m. View live demonstrations, talk to instructors, tour the campus, and more. To reserve your spot, call 866-544-7898 or visit sjvc.edu/events.
Insurance companies love using jingles to sell you policies, but not A, that's AAA. With affordable auto and home insurance plus America's most recommended roadside assistance, who needs a catchy jingle? Because AAA has coverage confidence.
So you've written a jingle about how we don't do jingles.
That's right, Steve.
Outsmart jingles and choose coverage confidence from AAA.
Sounded great to me, boss.
Now, when the other woman was here, she said she was torn between Brad and her own husband. Even after the show, she told me backstage that she didn't know how to stay away from Brad. Here's what happened when she got home and faced her husband.
I want him to leave me alone. On the show, I felt that I had betrayed Brad. I had said that I wanted Brad to leave me alone. I wasn't ready to say those words to him at that moment. The affair was still going on. I did text message Brad right after the show. I wanted to know how he was. A couple days after the show, my husband moved out of the house.
I was at the end of my rope. I decided to move out because I didn't see a change in her.
I finally realized that the affair was over when I realized how much my husband really did love me and that Brad was just very selfish. It's all about Brad. He's a narcissist. Mike and Brad are complete opposites in every way. One's beer and one's champagne.
I wonder every day how she could have been attracted to him.
After that conversation, he had text messaged me and told me that he loved me forever. It's good to know because through all this, I've always thought that I was different than the other girls. Michelle did call my cell phone after the show. She told me that, you know, I could have him, she'd bring his stuff over. And I was just like, crazy bitch, what are you talking about? That's how she is most of the time. She was being irrational. My husband, Mike, does not know everything about the affair. He doesn't want to know.
As far as the affair between Sarah and Brad is concerned, I don't want to know any more details.
My husband, Mike, is not aware that I had sex with Brad 9 days before the first show. When Dr. Phil said Brad was possibly a sex addict, it didn't surprise me.
I said that he was a predator 2 years ago. I don't think that Brad understands that games that he's playing are ruining people's lives.
The thing that really impacted me the most was when Dr. Phil said that Brad was poison to my children. You know, I realized he wasn't worth it.
Brad took advantage of my life. I look forward to the day when Brad's out of my life.
The best piece of advice Dr. Phil gave me was to go home and put my arms around my kids, to get counseling and get myself healthy so that I could work on my marriage. I miss Brad. If I did call Brad, we'd be right back in the mess we were in before. I wonder how Brad's doing and if he ever thinks about me. I'm sure some of the old feelings will come back when I see him face to face.
Well, the other woman in this situation wants to continue to keep her identity a secret, so she has asked us to call her by the fake name of Sarah. You have anxiety about being here with the two of them now, or just being here with Michelle?
I was under the impression that we were going to talk about the baby, and in that circumstance, I only wanted to discuss it with Brad and you.
Do you believe that this situation with Brad is over with?
Yes, I do.
You feared when you were here with Brad again that it might rekindle old feelings.
I said seeing him, but of course, you know, those feelings don't just automatically go away. There's no pill or switch or anything. So there's still feelings there, but...
Okay, and now a big question is, you have a child with you, and your position is that you think he should have no visitation rights with the child at all. Is that what your instinct tells you?
I believe it's in the best interest of the child for that to happen.
Okay, and tell me the reasoning that led to that conclusion.
That is because the baby has everything now that he needs. He has two parents that love him unconditionally, and there's nothing that he needs more than that.
All right, well, we're going to talk about this custody issue next, because one thing's for certain: the child's interests have to be ahead of anyone and everyone. So we're going to talk about that when we come back, and how they coexist moving forward in an appropriate way. We'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by...
Smoking damaged my heart. Now I have a battery-operated heart pump. My tip is, stop thinking this can only happen when you get old. My heart failure happened at 38.
You can quit. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW for help getting free medication.
Feeling from a backed up gut? Miralax works naturally with the water in your body to help you go. Free your gut and your mood will follow. For 8 grams of fiber, try new Mirror Fiber Gummies.
That's my boy. Stay off the freeways. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When I got hit by that truck, I wasn't just injured. I was scared and overwhelmed.
If you've been in an accident and suffered a serious injury, you need to get an attorney that will help you get what you deserve. Big insurance companies will pressure you to settle. Don't settle. Call BD&J. We've recovered over $1.5 billion for our clients.
BD&J took the trucking company to court and got us $3.5 million more than we were offered.
BD&J represents people throughout California. We have the experience you can trust.
Hungry for Bulldog football content? Our Sports Central team has you covered each day with Bulldog Bite, the best sound bites from Coach Tedford and the Fresno State players as they prepare for game day. Sponsored by Toyota. Bulldog Bite, weekdays at 6 and 11 on CBS 47.
September is Hunger Action Month, and we're lending a hand at our local food bank.
Volunteers are critical to providing food for everyone throughout the year.
When people are fed, futures are nourished. This Hunger Action Month, join Feeding America and consider donating, volunteering, or advocating so everyone can be part of the movement to end hunger.
Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/Hunger Action Month.
At rallies, I'm in the driver's seat. I'm thinking I want something big. Hit me with that double meat and cheese Big Buford. Woo! Actually, give me a second one for just $1 more. Bam. I want all the flavor. The Big Buford. Load it up. Buy one, get one Buford for $1? Absolutely. Legendary. Am I right? Whatever you order, own it at rallies. Now half off regular size classic slushies.
My concerns now are what Brad's involvement is going to be with the baby he has with Sarah.
I would take full custody if she'd allow me to have it.
I have concerns about my son being with Brad and Michelle. Brad and Michelle have no money. They don't have enough room for the children they have now. Michelle smokes, and I do not want my son around a smoker.
I'm willing to be a part of the baby's life.
I just don't think she has that motherly personality. I've never seen her hug and kiss her 12-year-old. She's not warm and fuzzy to her own children, let alone to this product of an affair. I'm not comfortable saying a lot of negative things about Michelle because we're friends.
Well, we're following a very complicated story of infidelity that resulted in a husband getting both his wife and his mistress pregnant at about the same time. All parties admit there could be a potential custody battle over the child that Brad shares with Sarah. Now, you were just saying in the tape, not good motherly instincts, and so you wouldn't want your child exposed to that.
I don't think any woman wants to be a stepmom. I don't. And I don't think it would be a good experience for her or the child. I don't think it would be a positive thing in his life. I don't think she would be a positive thing in his life because of the situation.
You think Michelle is not a good mother? They have a small house, don't have any money, and she smokes. I think those were the things that you listed.
Those are a few of the small things, yes.
Okay.
I mean, more than anything, I don't think it's healthy for the baby. I think he's a very happy, content baby, and I think that would just confuse him to send him from home to home.
You're judging her as not a good mother and not being there for her children, but it's you that's out sleeping with somebody else's husband? Does that seem inconsistent?
It does. And I'm not here to judge her. I'm not. You asked my concerns about why I would not want my child in their home, and this is some of them.
How do you feel about this child being part of your family?
I think the child has every right to know his biological father. I mean, the child has that right. And I am more than willing to establish a relationship with him.
And I agree that he does have a right to know when he is old enough to understand and make his own decision. And if he says at that time that he wants to know his biological father, I'm willing to do that. At this point, he is a baby. He has no say. I am his only voice. I'm trying to do what I think he would want. And I think any child wants to be raised in one home with two loving parents. And I honestly believe that's what's best for him.
Well, then why did you take the baby to a secret lunch with Brad and pose for family pictures?
Absolutely.
You know, I did that back when I was still involved with Brad. I thought we may still have a future. I know it wasn't the best thing to do. I wanted to see Brad, and I had the baby that day with me. It just...
Are you an unfit mother?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My children love me. I love my children. I am very involved in each one of their activities. Absolutely not.
And becoming more involved every day. I mean, that's part of the counseling. We're, increasing the communication among the family.
Do you want to have a relationship with this child?
Absolutely. I have come to the conclusion that in the best interest of that I will only pursue this if we can come to an agreement one way or another, wherever we come, and we can come to an agreement, because if I force the issue with and upset her and her husband, that is not a conducive environment for I think the only way to do it is if we can get along and we can agree to something.
So you're going to give the power away to her?
I didn't say that completely.
Yeah, I think you did.
But I don't think a nasty court battle is something that would be conducive for him. I think that would disrupt his life.
It's because he has no money to go forward through the legal system and get it done.
Well, see, everything with them is they're materialistic. Everything's about money. Several segments you've showed have been about money. And
We have plenty of money to go through the legal system.
And it's not about money. It's about what's best.
He has done nothing. The baby's 8 months old. He has done nothing. He has not gone through the legal system. He has not threatened me a couple times to file papers and start the process, but it has not happened. I'm not going to agree to it. There's nothing that's going to change my mind and make me think it would be good for a child to go from home to home with different rules, different bedtimes, and you know, I think he'd just be a confused little mess. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Would it be safe to say that the bloom is off the rose here? I mean, you seem to kind of be saying you can't afford to jack with me, people.
No, I don't mean to say that. I don't. But I believe...
We can play that back, because what you just said is they don't have the money to make this fight.
You know what?
And when she said, I have plenty of money, you got a real evil smile on your face, like, try me. Was I reading that wrong?
Yes, you were.
Okay, that's just...
I did that look, excuse me, because I was in their lives for 2 years. He told me hundreds of times that they had no money. I mean, I know that firsthand.
Well, you have no idea what we have now, do you?
Absolutely.
You have no idea.
Okay. That's fine.
You know, she told me before that he had said that he would make me pay every dime he could to fight this and go back, and then he would stick me with hospital bills. It's all about money to them. That's what it's about.
Who?
No, it's about the baby.
Oh, her
it's about
husband.
the baby.
Yeah.
It is about the baby. But you know, he hasn't done anything yet. I believe what's holding him back is he's wanting me just to come out here and decide today that, okay, you know, let's do this. Let's make the baby go from home to home every weekend and be confused and not understand what's going on. And, you know, his brothers and sisters don't have to do that. Why am I the only one that has to go between these two homes? I don't think it's good for him.
And you guys have a question about what I think is important there. And when we come back, I'm going to introduce you to the person we haven't met in this foursome. That's Sarah's husband. He's here. We're going to talk about this child when we come back.
Thursday on Dr. Phil. She keyed her boyfriend's car.
You think I care? I don't care anymore.
Got a restraining order.
Are you afraid of him?
Yes.
But she keeps coming back to him.
Your daughter and I had sex every day, like yesterday, like this morning, like all the time.
Oh my God.
You sexually assaulted her.
I did not sexually assault her.
You look my wife in the eyes and use your fingers to illustrate that you've had our daughter.
On the next Dr. Phil. That's Thursday.
Closed captioning provided by...
Want a smarter way to mop? Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, an all-in-one cleaning tool with a 360-degree swivel head that goes places a regular mop just can't. Mop smarter with the new Swiffer Power Mop.
COPD is harder on the folks around you, I think. My wife smoked, and she quit because she needs to be here to take care of me.
The people you love are worth quitting for. You can quit. Call 1-800-QUIT-NOW for help getting free medication.
Type 2 diabetes? Discover the Ozempic Trizone. I got the power of 3. I lowered my A1C, CV risk, and lost some weight.
In studies, the majority of people reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it.
I'm under 7.
Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular events such as stroke, heart attack, or death in adults also with known heart disease.
I'm lowering my risk.
Adults lost up to 14 pounds.
I lost some weight.
Ozempic isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take Ozempic if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or if allergic to it. Stop Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Living with type 2 diabetes?
Ask about the power of 3 with Ozempic.
Easier than you think to hire the Law Brothers.
We can evaluate your case in as little as 5 minutes. And that free 5-minute call could mean the difference of thousands of dollars for you.
The Law Brothers started working for me after just a 5-minute call. And they settled my case for over $350,000.
Call us. We're the Law Brothers.
Call 559-900-0000 or visit lawbrothers.com.
Organizations that encourage diversity in the workplace and assist a diverse group of job seekers are entitled to be placed on a distribution list to receive information from CBS 47 regarding CBS 47 job opening. If your organization would like to be placed on our list, please fax your request to 559-860-0107. Please include a contact name, organization name, full address, phone, and fax number. Job seekers can find current job openings at yourcentralvalley.com. CBS 47 is an equal opportunity employer.
He told me that he set boundaries when he called her to end the affair, which were I would be invited to listen in on the conversations. She didn't like the boundaries that he set.
When Michelle and I called Sarah about visitation, she told me that she thought I sounded hateful.
Just hearing his voice was hard for me. He sounded hateful. I told him that.
You could tell that she was upset that I had called. I know she wanted to talk about the two of us because I wanted to do the same thing. Had Michelle not been on the phone, I think I would have ended up talking about more than just my son and visitation.
All right, Sarah's husband is joining us for the first time. He will also be disguising his identity and has chosen to go by the name of Mike today. Dr. Phil, you okay joining us up here? Sure. All right, let's see. I watch everything. I saw the eye chatter between the two of you. Do you really not want to be up here? Would you rather me put you in the audience? Because I'm happy to do that. I'm really glad to meet you. You either have the patience of Job or you're just really tuned out of all this that's going on around you. And I think that you've probably chosen to tune out some and have amazing patience as well. We're talking about what's best for this child. You two want to raise that child, and if you never heard from them again, that would be okay. Because you just raise the child and love the child and do all the right things that you think are healthy. And you don't have any opinion of Brad that's good at this point, correct?
Correct.
I mean, you think he's not a good person because you think he made friends to get to your wife.
Yes.
And used and abused that trust, and so you think he is untrustworthy and not the kind of person that you think ought to be raising her child.
Right, and like we said, I mean, we do want him to know. We want the baby to know who his father is. But being as young as he is, and he just doesn't have the faculties to completely understand that now.
Do you have a negative opinion of Mike?
I didn't come here to talk about that.
You do need to talk about it because this is a person that is going to be a father figure, a male dominant role in your son's life. I'm not trying to get a flap going between you two, but in determining what is best for this child, can you say in good conscience that you are happy for your son to be raised in this man's image?
No, it's not. But, you know, at this point, he's going to reside with his mother, and I would like to be the dominant influence, but I don't know how much of that is possible. But no, it's not all right.
And Do you think that you feel differently or would treat this child differently because it's not your biological child, and in fact is the biological child of somebody that you hold in very low esteem?
Well, that's not his fault. It's not the baby's fault.
Do you think this relationship is stable?
Our relationship?
Yes.
Yes.
You think it's stable? I mean, she's just days out of a long, deceptive, and torrid affair with another man, and you say that you think it's a stable relationship?
Stable, yes. As
opposed to healthy and good, or just...
Well, I mean it's not where we both want it to be yet. It's just not hadn't been that long.
You're saying it's stable at a low level, but not in danger of disintegrating immediately.
Correct.
In other words, it's not where you want it, but it's something you think could be built on.
Correct.
All right, I've got to take a break, and we're going to come back with this complicated story of infidelity, custody, and I'm going to say what I think needs to happen in setting up the future and parenting of this child.
This is officially the most fun podcast I've ever been on.
The secret to turning your dreams into a reality with Sprinkles Cupcake Queen Candace Nelson.
Cupcakes that were in the supermarket, they were generic. And I thought, Cupcake really needs a makeover.
Candace Nelson is a serial founder.
My goal is to encourage women to bet on themselves. Dream big, bet on themselves, and go for it.
I've Got a Secret with Robin McGraw. Available on Apple Podcasts or however you listen to podcasts.
Kayaking is my thing.
Running is awesome. But her moderate to severe eczema would make her skin so uncomfortable.
I was always so itchy, especially when I was hot.
Now my skin doesn't itch as much. Now we're staying ahead of her eczema.
There's a power inside all of us to live our passion, and Dupixent works on the inside to help heal your skin from within. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema, so they can have clearer skin and less itch. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Healing from within is a wonderful thing.
Ask your child's eczema specialist how Dupixent can help heal their skin from within.
Type 2 diabetes?
Discover the Ozempic Trizone. I got the power of 3. I lowered my A1C, CV risk, and lost some weight.
In studies, the majority of people reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it.
I'm under 7.
Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular events such as stroke, heart attack, or death in adults also with known heart disease.
I'm lowering my risk.
Adults lost up to 14 pounds.
I lost some weight.
Ozempic isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take Ozempic if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or if allergic to it. Stop Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase low blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Living with type 2 diabetes?
Ask about the power of 3 with Ozempic.
Reuniting with his first love. Music, his new album, his family life, and how does he do downtime? Next Extra.
Today at 5:30, only CBS 47.
At Nutro, we believe in growing healthy dogs. Our food contains ingredients like flaxseed to help give dogs a healthy, shiny coat. It's just part of what makes Nutro so nutritious. Let's grow healthy dogs.
I'm attorney Connell Dunyan. People come to us all the time saying the insurance company or another law firm told them their injury case was worth little to nothing. One client came to us after the insurance company offered her $6,000. We ended up getting her $100,000. Call us first. It's just that easy.
Next Extra, hot off his big night at the VMAs, global icon Diddy talks about reuniting with his first love. Music, his new album, his family life, and how does he do downtime? Next Extra.
Today at 5:30, only CBS 47.
I'm Catherine Herr. You're watching CBS 47.
Brad says the affair with Sarah is over. but he still wants to be the father of the child that they had together. Now, I kind of hear you saying, however, that you're prepared to just step off and allow this to go, to just allow them to raise the child.
If that was the case, I would have done that a long time ago. I mean, I'm wanting to try to work this out. I'm trying to get them to have some dialogue. And I have been in contact with an attorney, and what he would like to do is either represent them as well, and all of us come in and sit down, or get with their attorney and try to resolve this as much out of the court as we can. And they're not willing to hear that. They're not willing to accept that. They want to fight over it.
Is that true?
We want truly what's best for that baby. And we want to be sure that what they're doing is the same feeling. That's what's best for the baby.
Do you all have an opinion of Brad as a father to his other children?
I think he's a wonderful father.
I mean, from what I know, I have no problem with how he's raised his boys.
Okay. So the problem here is Michelle. You don't have a problem with her either, but you have some small problems that...
I do, just because I have friends who are stepmoms, and it's not a good situation.
Right.
It's a hard job, and I think it would be hard for her.
But you were willing to run off into Neverland with my husband and leave your kids to have a potential stepmother? I mean, come on, get real.
Well...
But she never did do that. And how serious she was about ever doing that is still in question.
Exactly. I think I always knew deep down that it would never happen.
First off, my number one concern is that in no way does this child become a pawn, a way for you to lash out at them or you to lash out at them. And I definitely feel an undertow of resentment and judgment and emotion here that I fear could dominate decision-making. Number two, I have absolutely no opinion of you as a father. From everything I understand, you are a reasonable, rational, loving, if over-tolerant individual. But I absolutely believe to the core of my soul that a child has the right and the need to have a relationship with their biological parents. And the arbitrary decision that, well, I'll just decide when the time is that that's good for that child is not right and healthy thinking, in my opinion. Is there a price that the child has to pay by having an absent biological parent to the point that there has to be some sharing done? Yes, but that's what the two of you perpetrated. You can't then judge it and say, well, so you're just cut out. This child has the right and the need to have a relationship with his biological father. I think to just arbitrarily decide that you get to have that child and you don't is something that you might can claim here on the stage, but I'll assure you that's not the truth. You have no more entitlement to that child and the decision-making over that child than do you. And what you want to do is sit down and figure a way that this child has an extended family, a way that this child has a room and a place and a sense of belongingness in your home and in your home. You two should never speak ill of this child's father. You two should never speak ill of this child's mother. You should find a way that this child can enjoy a relationship with both biological parents. I don't think you should take the child and close the child off from his biological mother any more than you should go the other way. I think there has to be some sharing here, and I think the thing to do is to sit down outside the court system and work out something that logistically works in the child's best interest. And believe me, when you get a third party involved, when you get a court involved and you surrender control to a third party who you've never met, don't know, and have no idea what their thoughts, values, beliefs, and views are, you're taking a real chance, and you will wish you had sat down around a table and worked out something so this child can have a relationship with both biological parents. Next, what Brad wants to say to Mike. We'll be right back.
My active psoriatic arthritis can make me feel like I'm losing my rhythm. With Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm getting into my groove. Along with significantly clearer skin, Skyrizi helps me move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. And is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses. Skyrizi attaches to and reduces a source of excess inflammation that can lead to skin and joint symptoms. With Skyrizi, 90% clearer skin and less joint pain are possible.
Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement. And that means everything. Now's the time to ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
Here we go. Let's get into it. Go!
Oh my God!
I don't know if I've ever seen this much energy.
After a car accident, you might think it's best to wait and see before calling a lawyer. But if you've been injured, wait and see could turn into wait and lose. At Berg Injury Lawyers, we don't believe in wait and see. We believe in fight and win.
If you're feeling isolated and alone, Valley Caregiver Resource Center has invaluable programs to help seniors stay connected. Programs that provide activities and companionship, like telephone reassurance, weekly calls to promote cognitive health, with topics like reminiscing, safety, community involvement, ideas for staying active. Think of it as a weekly check-in. Visit valleycrc.org or call 559-224-9121.
Did you know that most of the other lawyer ads you see are from law firms that aren't truly in Northern California? How can you get personal attention if they're over 400 miles away? Call Berg Injury Lawyers, a Northern California original.
I'm Catherine Herr. You're watching CBS 47.
I appreciate both of you for being here, and I can tell you that you have a lot of work left to do, but you're doing it, and that you two stay away from each other. Comments or questions from either of you?
I want to apologize to Mike and to Sarah for this mess. I'm sorry this developed like it did. I'm sorry it went on like it did. I'm sorry that the pains for everyone involved. I'm sorry that the child's in the middle of it. I'm sorry that your children, my children, are in the middle of it. If I could take it back, I would, but I can't.
Okay.
Can I say to them that I'm also sorry for the pain, for everything? Michelle, I really am.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So long.
Live, unparalleled views of your community. Witness what's unfolding around the Valley. Stay informed, stay connected with the Valley Cam Network, presented by Table Mountain Sky.
I got hurt in a car accident, but I don't have time to deal with a lawyer.
Yes, you do. It's easier than you think to hire the Law Brothers.
We can evaluate your case in as little as 5 minutes.
And that free 5-minute call could mean the difference of thousands of dollars for you.
The initial call to the Law Brothers was just 5 minutes, and they settled my case for $600,000.
Call us. We're the Law Brothers.
Call 559-900-0000 or visit lawbrothers.com.
Introducing Instant Cash Offer, the quick, easy process you can trust. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy your car with no obligation. Then choose a dealer, schedule a time, and drive away with confidence.
Experience some of the greatest planes in history up close and in person at Castle Air Museum. Plus, it's the Bombs Away Car Show September 23rd from 9 to 4. Open to all vehicles, classic cars, trucks, and motorcycles surrounded by 80-plus aircrafts like the B-52 Bomber, F-16 Viper, and F-14 Tomcat. There will be food vendors, music, and much more. Go to our website for details. Make a visit to Castle Air Museum and come be amazed.
After I was injured by a truck driver, I had high medical bills and a ton of worries.
If you've been in an accident and suffered a serious injury, you need to get an attorney that will help you get what you deserve.
BD&J got a $28 million settlement for me.
Call BD&J.
Hungry for Bulldog football content? Our Sports Central team has you covered each day with Bulldog Bite, the best sound bites from Coach Tedford and the Fresno State players as they prepare for game day. Sponsored by Toyota. Bulldog Bite, weekdays at 6 and 11 on CBS 47.
Tracking a cool down across the valley, your forecast today at noon.
I'm Catherine Herr. You're watching CBS 47.
From the famous Bob Barker studio in Hollywood, it's The Price Is